a stay-at-home dad, watching Disney movies he never had. His daughter digs through all the VHS, crushing the classics in a princess dress. Informed like Scuttle, Kurt's got your ticket, making it real like Jiminy Cricket. Most are off the Captain Hook, but if the Tweedledum, he'll be taking more shots than Bambi's mom. Leaves him raised like Simba, or cracked like the beach dishes. He'll show you a whole new world, you won't need 3 wishes. Stay at home, Disney Dad.
Christmas has come and gone. The Disney reviews continue on, though. That's right. We're about to go into 2025 and what might be the last year of all of this. Not sure how many VHS tapes are left. It's been 5 years now, people, but we will continue until our giant bin of VHS tapes is empty as we start getting to the bottom of the collection. Get ready for the summer of Boone. Anyway, I watched the majority of these with my daughter. Kind of the point of this. Watch Disney movies. Spend time with the daughter, take a picture of her every week with the VHS tape, keep up my lightning quick teleprompter reading skills, all that. But sometimes if it's going to be too adulty or like racially charged or just dated, I'll watch the movies with my teenage son. But tonight, as we bask in the post-Christmas glow, I picked Tales from Avonlea, and I'm watching this with my wife. She grew up in Canada without cable, so she watched a lot of Avonlea, and it should be fun to get her reaction. We press play, and it's feature presentation. Felicity's First Date. We get the title of the episode, and then the show's opening montage credits, which I'm not sure I've ever seen before in that order. It's opening montage, title screen. That's how it's done in every single show in the history of TV. It's all top review already. Now we get a second title screen. This is called How Kissing Was Discovered. There's the older sister who doesn't want to catch bugs with her smaller sister. These characters are familiar to me because this was on every day during the 90s when you would channel surf, but none of this really stuck with me except for that one old lady in the show who's honestly one of the greatest natural heels you have ever seen. You just look at her and you know everything she's about and you don't like her. Fantastic actress. I should look her up and see if she won every award possible because she should have. But we start with a different old lady, not the old lady I was talking about. This old lady comes and tells the girls that they grew up ugly. This is Cousin Myrtle. She's over to the men we go. Felix doesn't want Alex to hurt his shoulder because there's a big cricket game tomorrow and he's the star player. I'm still having weird flashbacks. The cadence and the actors and the names are familiar, but I don't ever remember actually watching the show other than passing it by as I would go up and down my 34 channels of 90s cable TV here in Canada. 90s was great, folks, okay? My wife completely missed out. Actually, not having cable TV actually explains a lot about her necessity to champion mediocrity. The older daughter, Felicity King, is reading a romance novel. This is practically pioneer smut. She says she hates cricket and won't be going to the big game tomorrow at all, ever, no. But then a boy shows up on a horse and is like, I'm in town for the cricket match tomorrow, miss. And suddenly she goes, I love cricket and I'm going to be there tomorrow, despite, again, telling everyone she hates cricket before. What a swerve, right? My wife randomly says, oh, How Kissing Was Discovered. Don't distract me, woman. Tales of Avonlea reviewed. Right for the 12 people who watch these, okay? Deadlines girl. Felicity is asking her dad about cricket. Felix takes the other sister, Sarah, to his favorite fishing hole. I think the boy that's going to bang their older sister is already there catching fish like a total boss. Now he's playing the fiddle and dancing a jig in the water. What the hell are we watching? Okay, this is not the same man that's going to bang their sister. We are producing new characters at a Game of Thrones pace here, folks. This man says he just got off a ship. He's looking for work. This man is a serial killer, and they invite him over to meet the family. Felicity is preening in the bathroom. Gus Pike is the vagrant, or the hobo, and they bring him home, and they're like, look at this hobo who fills for fish, and he was alone with us in the woods. And the dad looks at him and asks what any dad would ask in this awkward and potentially dangerous situation. He asks, quote, you're not from PEI, are you? In her room, Felicity is groping herself and saying, oh, David, over and over, and you think I'm lying, but I'm not.
Oh, David.
I slide another foot away from my wife on the couch. Felix grabs her diary and runs away, and despite how mean this is, they play whimsical music. Okay, she tackles Felix, and then her fake breasts fall out. She patted her bra. And Dad is like, Felicity, King, what has gotten into you? Not yet, Dad, but it's coming. And then she's like, I hate you all. And poor Gus Pike just stands there like, being homeless was way better than this circus. Sarah Polley, even at this young age, steals every scene, outacts everyone else on the show, puts on an absolute clinic every time she's on screen. Felicity is picking out her dress and says, blue is more becoming on me. And if that cricket guy gets his way, he'll be winning cricket tomorrow. What did you think I was going to say? Come on. Dad Alan managed to piss off every woman in his house one by one before eventually making it to the cricket game late. Felicity is cheering against her dad's team because the horse guy is on the other team. David is the dreamy horse guy, and he's pitching against her dad Alan, and I have no idea what cricket is about or how you play, but Alan hits a cricket home run after the game. Felicity spills tea on David, and he says, you live in the shadow of disaster. And she thinks that's hot. And hell, I think that's hot. Felicity is sweet-talking her mom so she can go to the adult cricket after-party dance tonight. Alan soaks in a bathtub in the middle of the kitchen. And I can't listen to anything they say as their other daughter, storms out of the house or something. He's in a bathtub in the kitchen. Gus emerges from the shadows and starts playing the fiddle. Yeah, that's fine. He's smoking a pipe and playing the fiddle in the shadows. Alan, once again, pisses off his wife and the aunt, and then Felicity comes out and is like, can we go to the dance? And Dad gets mad and goes, we ain't going to no dance if you ask me between now and doomsday. And then Felicity storms off, and Alan says, can't a man have a bath in his own kitchen? That's kind of funny. I don't know why. Felicity sneaks out and is going to go by herself to the dance, but Gus offers to take her, and she accepts. Jesus, girl. Mom and Dad realize Felicity snuck out, and Gus Pike has also gone, so he's probably wearing her skin like a jacket already. But at the dance, Felicity waves a paper at David, and my wife explains that that's her dance card. In the olden days, a girl would wave a paper square at a boy as a gesture that she would like to dance with him, and then he would come over and write his name on the paper if he wants to dance with her. My wife is full of knowledge. My wife is also full of because I guess that was David's kerchief that he dropped earlier, and she picked it up and she's returning it to him as her icebreaker, as an excuse to talk with him again. What is the matter with the woman I married? He's not interested, and Gus Pike is like, I'm still here. But then David comes outside and wants to take her for a private walk as Gus Pike smokes a pipe in the shadow. That's fine. Dad shows up and Felicity falls down into David's arms. Well, I never. They're back home now, and Felicity's crying and embarrassed, and somehow Gus is the hero in all this. Felix and his buddy are grilling Gus. He's been on ships and trains. They ask him, where's the most exotic place you've ever been in? He goes, next week when I'm in your sister. I deserve that one. Mom made sandwiches, then faints. Better snap out of it, girl. Making sandwiches is like half your worth as a person back in the early 1900s or whenever this was. And that's a commentary on the unfair treatment and stereotypes of women back in the day. I'm on her side. That's true. She's pregnant. Okay, that's what happens. Now, Gus is suddenly leaving. That's suspect. Gus is leaving, and Felicity's like, I wish there was a manual on kissing. And Gus just runs and kisses her on the mouth and says, well, that was better than kissing my dog. And now Felicity pivots and has the hots for Gus. Mom and Dad make an announcement. There's going to be a sixth kid. We watch Gus walk towards the sea, and we fade to black. What happened? Okay, Aunt Hetty's ordeal is up next. This is Aunt Hetty, absolute heel. This actress is fantastic at being hated. It's the Lieutenant Governor's Reception Award that are coming up, and Hetty gets a letter. Her old rival, Stacy, has been promoted to her boss and is coming to inspect her school because she's Aunt Hetty's rival, and now Aunt Hetty is angrily painting the fence. The town's old ladies are clucking like hens and gossiping about how great Stacy is because they know this is getting under Hetty's skin, and that's fun, and this is fantastic. Hetty claps back, though, and says she's going to out Stacy, who is famous for getting kids to go to school who weren't already in school. Hetty goes to the lobster dock and asks the workers if they want to go to school and learn to read and write. And they all laugh except for one person. Who takes her up? It's Gus Pike from the last show. She goes, I'll see you 8:30 a.m. Monday morning. And the other dock workers make fun of him, but suddenly it's Monday, and Gus Pike, quote, runs his guts out to get there Monday morning, and he lights up a pipe in school, and he does not belong in school. Fish out of water. He brought his fiddle, and it goes everywhere I go, even to the outhouse, and they all laugh at poor idiot Gus Pike, and Hattie is a to him, and she kind of makes a fool out of him in front of the rest of the class, and, I'm so sure he's glad he took her up on her offer and, came to school today. She writes, Gus on the board. I've never seen my name written before. I don't know. At recess, he's fiddling, and the kids are dancing in a circle, and Hetty's worried that Stacy's going to see the kids dancing in a circle, and Hetty tells Gus to never bring his fiddle to school ever again. He's singing a poem now, and Hattie's like, wait a minute, how do you know that poem? And Gus is an idiot, but he can remember stuff, and someone on the dock said the poem once, I guess. Then he tells her his toe is full of pus. He says he wants to be a gentleman, and it just so happens that she has a picture book in her basket called, quote, How to Be a Gentleman, the book. Oh, okay, Hattie. This Gus guy is actually a pretty good actor. Like, he's played a good idiot. There's a huge, long, shaky shot of the two of them walking by a fence, and it's all dialogue, and he's like, my family is dead, and my dad's in jail for murder, and it's just weirdly shot. It's like the cameraman is walking in front of them, shooting backwards, shaking with each step, and this scene goes on forever. It's all dialogue. Gus shows up the next day and says he forgot his notebook because last night the boys were smoking and drinking. Hattie says, did your father do the smoking and do the drinking as well? And he goes, and do the women too. She takes his fiddle away and says it's preventing him from learning. He's not a fan. She teaches him how to chew. On the walk home, Gus Pike says he wants a family and takes off running down the field. Felix yells at him that he's strange because Felix, wants to get rid of his family. It's kind of a funny moment. Hattie falls in the outdoor shower, and I guess that was a thing back then. The doctor tells her to rest for 5 days. So Stacy is going to teach her class now, and the next day Gus is all freaked out because he doesn't know Stacy. I don't know you. Who is this girl? Anyway, he falls asleep in class, and Stacy lets him sleep. They're all practicing that poem that Gus knows. They're going to perform it at the Lieutenant Governor Gala Awards or whatever, and Stacy wants to surprise Mrs. King, like Aunt Hetty, with a big production of these kids singing the poem in the gala in her honor. The paper publishes an article about the differences between Stacy and Hetty looks like a dull. She's all embarrassed. Stacy wants Gus to play his fiddle for their presentation to Hattie, but he says, I don't play the fiddle no more. Stacy goes to see Gus in the dock, and she's like, why don't you play the fiddle anymore? He tells Stacy that King says the fiddle will ruin his life. He thinks the fiddle is cursed now because of her. He's talking insane. He says Mrs. King says she can see inside of him. There's the devil and an angel, and they're at war. And Stacy's like, she said what now? She's off to take Hetty's head off now, okay? She goes to the house. She goes, I'm going to be blunt. She tells Hetty she made Gus afraid to play his fiddle. Hetty King is like, you'd do anything to turn those kids against me, wouldn't you, Stacy? Stacy's like, all right, whatever, crazy lady. That night, we get some of the worst acting ever as some guy picks a fight with Gus, and they brawl, and Gus grabs someone else's fiddle and starts tearing it down as the lantern falls and the dock starts on fire, and he assumes it is the devil through his fiddle. What a storyline. Gus is quitting school and working full-time so he can pay off the debt for the fire he started. He asks for his fiddle back, and Stacy gets it out of the closet and hands it to him just as Hetty stumbles in the door and is like, don't give him that fiddle! And then the two ladies go at it in front of a green screen. Stacy tells Hetty to go talk to him and tell him his fiddle isn't cursed. Hetty is back at the dock now, bugging him. This poor guy. Like, he just wants to do his job at night and go to school during the day. These old ladies just keep showing up and bugging him at work every single day. She says, maybe I was wrong about his murdering dad's devil ghost living in his fiddle and inhabiting his body when he plays it. I mean, just maybe. It's the Lieutenant Governor Gala thing now, and Stacy presents the kids' performance just as Gus walks in dressed sharp, and it's Jack at the fancy dinner scene here, but Gus stands his ground and gives a speech. He was the first one that ever cared about me. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't know nothing about English. Then he starts to play his fiddle and wins over the stuffy crowd. All the aristocrat adults give him a standing ovation. Oh, I never. Good job, my lad, good job. And then he says, this is for you, Dad, and he kills them all as the devil takes control of his body, and Stacy's like, oh, whoops, that's on me.
That's what I think about.
What do you think?
What we have is a concern about Curtis Anderson. His interviewing style is not the best. His personal appearance is not the best. I was wondering if the man has some kind of a hold over the channel that he's allowed to be employed for so long with the standards of journalism and personal appearance that he has. Thank you.